Ah, Welcome to satsang. Welcome. Hmm. I want to invite today that the opportunity we have here is a meditation. The opportunity we have here is the opportunity to explore a direct experience of self, not a concept of self, not an idea of self. Today, satsang is not simply to share ideas and deliver concepts, but for all of us to take this opportunity today to explore in the moment, in this moment, today, this morning, as we speak, as we explore, to feel into and feel into your own experience, your own truth. Not simply to listen, not simply to learn, but to have a direct experience. For it's your direct experience that will last, or that will have the greatest influence. For you to have the experience. Oh, okay, there is a sense of is-ness, of presence, of awareness, consciousness that is prior to or beyond the conditioned self. Because that's what it always comes down to. All the various pointers, the concepts, the ideas, the things that sound like truths when they're spoken are not the truth themselves. They are simply the pointers to your own direct experience of truth. Right? And the pointers, the concepts, the ideas, the insights, the perspectives shared, explored here, taken in through the mind, taken in through the senses, but then applied within, followed within, following the pointer within, and then forgetting the pointer altogether and just having the direct experience. We're always pointing to truth, true nature, true self, as opposed to, or in regard to, the conditioned self, often known as the dream of self, the illusion. What most of us typically call self, I. This is always the fundamental pointing. What is, who is, where is I? Because I is just so pervasive in our world, in our worldview, in our personal view. I want, I need, I believe, I see, I understand. I can, I can't, I am not. This I is typically experienced as the conditioned self, the constructed self, the self that has been constructed, put together through beliefs, stories, ideas, conditioning, most of the conditioning given to us by others. And that serves typically as the I, the conditioned I. Yes? Yes. So, in this moment, follow the breath in. Beyond thought, beyond concept, beyond story, beyond definition, beyond naming. With the question, with the self-inquiry of what is aware of these thoughts I have about self. I am good, I am bad, I am worthy, I am unworthy, I am lovable, I am safe, I am unsafe, I am hurt. I am betrayed. I am happy. All these conditions that are always changing. What is the nature of the unchanged, unchanging awareness? What is aware? What is the unchanging awareness, that which is always aware, stable, steady, of the conditioned I that is constantly changing? I am this today, I am that tomorrow. I felt good about myself yesterday, why don't I feel good about myself today? What is aware of that? What doesn't change no matter what the thoughts about self do? No matter how the thoughts about self change, what is that does not change? That we typically find in our stillness, in our quiet. Dropping into the body, dropping into direct experience. What is the unchanging I? What's its essence? Yeah. This presence. And we start to recognize and have the experience that it's a very different experience to engage with, to meet the world of form, of time, from our conditioned person or from our sense of pure presence. Feel that. Go there. Imagine any condition in your life, relationship, work, dissatisfaction, difficulty, pain, suffering, loss, joy, happiness, being out on a hike, riding your bike, and feel into meeting that experience, letting that experience move into you, having that experience, meeting those conditions as the conditioned person, which is a bit complicated, trying to parse out all the conditioning and all the stories, beliefs, or the pure presence. How does the experience shift? Just feel into that. The conditioned self, the conditioned person, tries to create a world that is only acceptable if it matches, if it meets, if it puzzle piece fits with the conditioning. If the conditioning is you're not worthy, then you need to create a world that validates worthiness, or that is ultra safe. You need to create a certain conditioned world to be happy if it meets the conditioning, matches, aligns with the conditioning of who you believe you are. In the pure presence, already whole, already love, curious, compassionate, here to play, without story, is it not true that we then can meet all conditions with an equal grace of equanimity, or an equanimity of grace? This is the natural state. The natural state is grace. And the only thing that gets in the way of that is the over-identification with the image of the person. So we get to have a human life, we get to have a human personal experience. But we get to watch it from a place of truth and be curious. To disentangle our conditioning, not from within the conditioning. It's so much easier from the perspective of pure presence to watch ourselves with honesty and see where we're tangled in our conditioning and release and let go and explore and let be. Let ourselves feel our pain. Let ourselves feel our grief. Let ourselves feel our anger. Let ourselves feel the triggers, the ways that the conditioning responds. Not from within the conditioning, but from the perspective of the truth of who you are. It's not to deny the human experience, it's to witness and transmute the shadow that can arise in the human experience back into the light. Welcoming all experiences from the stability, the solidity, from your individual experience of presence. So, many years ago when I was leading treks in Nepal, Kathmandu, the area of Tamil and Kathmandu was still finding its self as a tourist destination. And many of the cafes, beautiful little garden cafes, these little tucked away courtyards, the waiters were often these, they were just young men typically from the mountains who had come to the city. You know, this is the oldest story of the young people who come from the mountains, from the outlying areas into the city to find work. And a lot of them got work as waiters. But they had, one, they didn't speak English very well. And they weren't used to being waiters. They had no training in this, but there they were. And we'd go in, a group of people, 10 people, let's say, and sit at a big table. Maybe even a larger group, and a little bit overwhelming for even a seasoned waiter to get all the orders and get the orders right, and get the right food to the right people who ordered what. So we'd go in and you order. And I would like, please, the cheeseburger. And then the orders would start to arrive. And instead of cheeseburger, you'd get beef stroganoff. And naturally, you'd say, excuse me, I didn't order the beef stroganoff, I ordered the cheeseburger. They'd say, ah, yes, very good, sorry. And they'd come back with the chicken schnitzels, or spaghetti bolognese, fish and chips. And there'd be some irritation, typically. I want the cheeseburger. And it's becoming a need. I need the cheeseburger. It's what I want. It's what I ordered. And this isn't right. Now, meanwhile, people who had been in Nepal for a while, who understood and had been through this experience before, they tended to eat what was brought to them. And if you didn't, if you kept sending your food back because, darn it, this isn't what I ordered, oftentimes a group of 10, everyone would be done and paying their bills, and you'd still be trying to get your darn food. So we came up with a lesson, a teaching for ourselves, which was, okay, order what you want. Order what you want. Be grateful for whatever you receive. Order what you want. Be gracious. Be grateful for what you receive. The person tends to do the ordering. Doesn't have to, but it tends to. I want. And remember, want and need are very different things. I need from a sense of lack. I will not be complete until I have from a sense of lack is very different than I feel whole, I feel alive, I feel vital, vibrant, intact, and I want to play. And this is one of the ways I would like to play in the world, by having chicken schnitzel, or by having $1 million, or by being of service, or by being a musician, or a singer, or a songwriter, or a writer, anything that where our passions guide us. This is a want. The need comes from a sense of lack, of I won't be complete until I have. But we order what we want. And what we find is that the conditioned self, remember, the conditioned self needs to meet a world that matches its conditioning. And that narrows what's going to be pleasing or acceptable to the conditioned self. When we meet life with just the presence of being being the more forward experience rather than the person being more forward. The presence of being more forward. When that presence meets life, gratitude and graciousness isn't an effort, right? So check in with yourself right now. The self, prior to or beyond the conditioning, the construct of self, prior to the construct, prior to the conditioning, free of all thought of self, just the pure presence of being. Do you find some graciousness there that is natural, easy? Yes, yeah, right. It's valuable to practice gratitude, but it's more valuable simply to abide in and recognize and have the direct experience and cultivate this knowing of true nature, which is naturally gracious. It doesn't have to effort. It just happens. It just is. Right? Do you feel that? Yeah. So let's take that out into the world today. That's the invitation. To perhaps be aligned with more of the presence that is aware of the person than the person. Which feels more stable? Presence or person? Yeah. Presence? Yes. Yeah. Do you feel that? The person, the identity of self, the image of self, constantly changing. The presence, unchanging, not limited. Doesn't need to find a particular match in the world to be happy. It knows itself as joy. And then simply does go out and look to create joyful experiences, things that resonate with that joy. But the disappointment and dissatisfaction is an aspect of the person, is not an aspect of presence. The dissatisfaction and disappointment is of the mind, of the conditioning, of the story, of the image of self, not meeting something that matched up with its conditioning. Pure presence keeps moving with a grace. It's not necessarily disappointed. It may want to shift a dynamic, shift an experience to be more in alignment with its joy. but it doesn't suffer until that condition changes. There's no suffering if the condition isn't what it wants, what it feels more at peace with, what it feels more in alignment with. It keeps looking to create, align, manifest more grace, more beauty, more alignment with its own natural peace and beauty and grace. But not disappointed or suffering until that condition is created. I'll end with this. There was a teaching that resonated very much for me the other day from Muji. Muji is a beautiful teacher, one of my primary teachers. And he reminded us that we are the natural pure, the natural state, the true nature itself, true nature of all of us. We are the formless, experiencing a life of form. And we are the timeless, experiencing time. We are the imperishable, experiencing a life of mortality. We are the unchanging, experiencing a life of change. We are the pure, experiencing a life of imperfection. Let's not forget, while we are experiencing imperfection, that we are the pure. Let's not forget that while we are experiencing form and mortality and time and change, that we can meet all of that, remembering we are the timeless, we are the eternal, we are the pure, we are the changeless, we are the formless awareness. And we can then play with this human experience. Aligning more with the eternal than the impermanent. Blessings. Blessings. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you.